last time I was on 11 Alive, it wasn't the same kind of thing. I was on such a destructive path.
I know how to fight. Ain't nobody finna disrespect me, touch me, push me, bop into me, step in my shoe, none of that.
I never been fond of just letting people take advantage of me or handle me any kind of way, so that'll never happen.
Gucci Mane has always been respected, but back in the day, he was feared. Feared by the streets, feared by other rappers, and feared by one man in particular, Yo Gotti. It's not just about diss tracks or rap cliques, this was personal. Alleged betrayal, street politics, raw paranoia, and one man's descent into a dangerous state of mind. Gucci was not ready to be double-faced. He gave up the game raw, no filter, no lies. Two names still echo in the streets, Dolph and Gucci. Gucci versus the gangster rap world. Back in the late 2000s, Gucci Mane was not just representing Atlanta, he was Atlanta. But he was not the polished, business-savvy Gucci you see today. This was before prison Gucci. He was addicted to lean, paranoid, violent, and trigger-happy, the kind of man who would show up at a video shoot alone just to make a point.
I think I've been sophisticated. I've been, you know what I'm saying, I've been super smart. When I was on drugs so bad, you know, I talked different. You know, when I was smoking weed, damn near a pound of weed every other day, you know, I was congested. When I was drinking lean like crazy every day, I was out of my mind.
This was the Gucci who carried a Desert Eagle everywhere, the one who caught a murder case and beat it in self-defense, the one who did not just insult you in a track, he would show up in person.
Somebody comes to you, try to kill you, you know, and self-defense.
Mm-hmm.
So somebody's try to kill you, you know, you gotta do what you gotta do. I would love to. I don't care, you see me, my wife, you can talk to me. I'ma smoke you. You know what's going on with me. Yeah, I ain't gonna tell nobody, not even the police. I don't believe in none of that shit. The only thing I believe in is don't tell the police.
Gucci versus Gotti, friends turned foes. These two weren't just rappers, they were men with real street ties, which is exactly why their connection was so electric from the start. Gucci and Gotti linked up, dropping hit after hit that shook the industry. Tracks like Mo Money, Colors featuring Jules Santana, Ridiculous, and Bricks dominated the airwaves. But it wasn't just singles, they went all in, releasing collaborative projects like Definition of a G and a G S-word mixtapes. Their chemistry felt unstoppable, like they were on the verge of taking over the game together. The trigger? October 17, 2012. Gucci was prepared to drop Trap God, a defining moment not just for his career, but for his 1017 brand. That date, 1017, wasn't just a release day, it was his identity, his empire's foundation. Gotti dropped his mixtape Coke Music 3 on the same day Gucci dropped The State vs. Radrick Davis. Gucci saw it as disrespect. He felt like Gotti was trying to step on his moment. At first, Gotti insisted it was a coincidence. He claimed he didn't know about Gucci's plans, but when he realized the clash, he saw it as an opportunity. He reached out to Gucci, excited to turn the state into a joint takeover. Gucci, however, never replied. And just like that, the fragile peace shattered, setting off a chain of events that would ignite one of the most intense rivalries in Southern rap history.
Somebody's gonna hear this record, and they're gonna think that you're talking crap about Gotti and these other cats. And when
I said Gotti was cool until he turned into a buster.
Yeah, like 2, 3 in the morning, my phone get the texts and calls like, look, homie did this, homie did that.
The breaking point, the alleged betrayal. At the heart of the feud between Gucci Mane and Yo Gotti was a personal betrayal that cut far deeper than public beefs or business rivalries ever could. While Gucci was locked up, serving time behind bars, rumors began to swirl. Yo Gotti allegedly slept with Gucci's wife. In the street code that both men lived by, this wasn't just a private, personal matter. It was an unforgivable violation of loyalty, respect, and the unspoken rules that bind even the fiercest rivals. Gucci Mane's time in prison was already a pressure cooker, a world where paranoia and mistrust festered constantly. Being isolated from the outside only made him more suspicious and guarded. Hearing about the betrayal didn't just wound him emotionally, it shattered any remaining trust he might have held for Gotti. This wasn't about jealousy alone, it was about power, it was about respect, it was about survival in a world where allegiances meant everything, and where crossing a line like this demanded a response. For Gucci, the streets weren't just a backdrop for music or hustle, they were a battleground where reputation could be life or death. This alleged betrayal turned what might have been a manageable conflict into a full-blown war. The once muted tension exploded into open hostility, dragging both men into a public showdown that played out across social media, interviews, and the underground rap scene. Friends, alliances, and business ties were tested and torn apart. What started as a whisper in the shadows quickly became a defining chapter in their rivalry. A bitter saga of betrayal, broken bonds, and the ruthless pursuit of power. Neither Gucci Mane nor Yo Gotti could walk back from this. It changed everything.
Do what you do, I'ma, you know what I mean, fall back.
But then you started smashing his chick, and then he bangs your partner's girl.
Damn, Gotti. You ain't my friend, man.
But that was your girlfriend, though, right? Wasn't it like
Gotti said, Emmy, my partner. I didn't know that was your wife.
I ain't know that. Like, I ain't know that.
Gucci's downward spiral. Between 2011 and 2013, Gucci Mane went nuclear. He dissed damn near the whole industry. T.I., Jeezy, Nicki Minaj, Drake, even Waka Flocka. Twitter rants, street beef, endless mugshots. He was spiraling.
Would love to. I don't care. You see me, my wife, you can talk to me. I'ma smoke you. You know what's going on with me. Yeah, I ain't gonna tell nobody, not even the police. I don't believe in none of that shit. The only thing I believe in is don't tell the police.
How Gucci and Dolph linked up. While Gotti was playing chess with the industry, a new voice was rising in Memphis, young Dolph. Independent, loud, proud. And guess who took a liking to him? Gucci Mane. Dolph, already making waves in Memphis, wasn't just any rapper. He was streetwise, fearless, and fiercely loyal. Seeing Gucci's pain and knowing the history, Dolph aligned himself closely with Gucci, forming a bond rooted in shared respect and mutual distrust of Gotti. Where Gotti represented a threat and betrayal, Dolph stood as a brother in arms, someone who would never cross that line. Their alliance wasn't just about music, it was about trust, protection, and sending a message, loyalty above all else. Their bond wasn't just business, it was personal. Gucci gave Dolph advice that helped shape his come-up. The streets started to whisper, was Gucci G'ing Dolph to go at Gotti? Maybe, maybe not. But the tension was there, especially when they started showing up together.
I met Dolph doing a feature. You know, he actually buying a feature from me. This dude here in the streets, he a hustler, and he sound good, he's rapping good. Boom, now we friends. It wasn't like we signed each other, but it went from him doing business with me.
I got a lot of memories. Me and him going to New York a long time ago, going shopping. Like right before he even blew up, and just me and him all those days at the brick factory, just you know, just building a friendship.
Gucci's life-changing advice to young Dolph. Beyond the music and street ties, Gucci Mane wasn't just a figure in young Dolph's life. He became a mentor and a guide, offering wisdom that went far deeper than the usual talk of hustle and grind. Having survived his own battles with addiction, paranoia, and the constant threat of betrayal, Gucci understood the harsh realities of the game better than most. He knew the cost of the streets and the music business, how quickly things could spiral out of control if you lost focus or let your guard down. Gucci took it upon himself to share this hard-earned knowledge with Dolph. He warned him to stay sharp and focused, to always be several steps ahead of the chaos around them. Be smarter than the streets, Gucci would say, emphasizing that survival wasn't just about toughness, it was about strategy and mental strength. He encouraged Dolph not to let fear dictate his moves, teaching him that fear could be a weakness that enemies would exploit. In interviews, young Dolph often credited Gucci Mane with opening his eyes to the bigger picture. Gucci helped him learn how to navigate the music industry's tricky waters while balancing the dangerous politics of the streets. It wasn't just about making hits or stacking money, it was about protecting yourself, your reputation, and your people. Gucci's advice was straightforward but powerful. Protect your circle, trust only the real ones, and always keep your guard up. This mindset became a cornerstone for Dolph. It turned him from just another street rapper into a leader who earned respect, not only for his music but for his loyalty and wisdom. Gucci's influence helped Dolph command his space in the game with a clear vision, blending street smarts with business savvy, a legacy that's hard to ignore.
Gucci, man, talking to me, telling me this. You know what I'm saying? He like, look what you got going on. You getting 40s and 50s a show. He like, bro, majority of all these major artists, before they were even getting 7,500 a show, they were signed, probably once or twice.
This time, Gucci and Dolph team up. Then came the viral moments, Gucci dropping subliminals with Dolph right there beside him, silent but deadly. That line hit differently because everyone knew who he was aiming at.
I don't know if I'm more shocked that dude actually say my name in a song that's a diss record, right, or the reason why the people say he say my name.
But for the new fans, that might have looked like just another internet moment. For those who really knew the history, it meant something much darker, because this wasn't just Dolph co-signing a diss. This was a full-circle collision of street energy, personal betrayal, and long memories. To understand why Yo Gotti felt pressure from that moment, You gotta rewind. Back to when Gucci Mane wasn't a business mogul or fitness icon, he was the most unpredictable man in rap. Background: who was Gucci Mane in his prime? Before the memes, before the clone rumors, Gucci Mane was chaos in human form. A legend, yes, but a dangerous one. This was a man who walked through the music industry like it was a war zone. Not the slimmed-down, rebranded legend we see today. We're talking about prime Gucci. A man deep in the grip of lean addiction, running off paranoia, violence, and unfiltered rage. Gucci was already dangerous, but with syrup clouding his mind and trust issues running deep, he became almost untouchable. You couldn't control him, you couldn't predict him, and in the South, that made him one of the most feared names in the game. Enter Yo Gotti. Different city, different approach, but the same southern soil. Yo Gotti, the hustler from Memphis. Yo Gotti wasn't about chaos or wild outbursts, he was about calculated moves and steady grind. Hailing from the tough streets of North Memphis, Yo Gotti's rise was shaped by a different kind of struggle. Growing up in Ridgecrest apartments with a single mother frequently in and out of prison, Gotti learned early that survival meant hustling smart and staying loyal. Unlike Gucci's explosive energy, Gotti's approach was more measured, a strategic chess game in the gritty world of Memphis street rap. By the late 90s, Gotti was already dropping independent tapes under the name Lil Yo, slowly carving out his place in the southern rap scene. Over time, he transformed into Yo Gotti, capturing the raw realities of his environment with mixtapes like Life and Coke Music series. His street credibility grew, and so did his reputation as a man who commanded respect without unnecessary drama. Where Gucci was chaos incarnate, Gotti was the calm, steady force, the hustler who built an empire brick by brick. How they came up in the South around the same time. The early 2000s was a golden era for Southern hip-hop. Atlanta and Memphis became hotspots for new talent, grinding out stories rooted deeply in street hustle and survival. Gucci Mane, hailing from Atlanta, and Yo Gotti, representing Memphis, were on parallel trajectories. Though miles apart geographically, the southern streets that raised them shared a common language, one of loyalty, power, and respect. Both artists learned early the importance of reputation, alliances, and keeping their circle tight. They started from humble beginnings, working through mixtapes, local shows, and underground buzz. Their music reflected the harsh realities they lived: poverty, violence, and the need to assert dominance in the game and the streets. This shared backdrop planted the seeds for their eventual connection, but also the tension that would later explode. Gotti didn't need chaos to be feared. His image was built on discipline and respect. He wasn't the type to explode on camera like Gucci, but he moved in silence. And in Memphis, that meant something. He was playing chess while others were playing war. Gucci beefs the industry. Gucci Mane wasn't just feared by Yo Gotti, he was feared by almost everybody. Because when Gucci had beef, it didn't stay in the booth. It bled into the streets, the headlines, and the courtroom. And Gotti, he wasn't the first. He definitely wasn't the last. Gucci Mane versus Young Jeezy, the war that got a man killed. It started with a hit. Icy. The song was supposed to be a win for both Gucci and Jeezy, a moment to celebrate the South's rise. But when both artists claimed it as their own, egos clashed. Gucci insisted it was his song. Jeezy wanted it on his debut album. Neither would budge. What would have been a milestone became a warning shot. Jeezy allegedly upped the stakes by putting a $10,000 bounty on Gucci's chain in a radio freestyle. That wasn't rap beef, that was real. Gucci heard the threat and stayed ready. Days later, a crew broke into the house Gucci was in. They thought it would be an easy hit. It wasn't. Gucci opened fire. One man ended up dead, Pookie Loke, a known affiliate of Jeezy. Gucci beat the murder charge on grounds of self-defense, but that moment changed everything. The music stopped, the war began. From then on, Gucci and Jeezy weren't just rivals, they were enemies bound by bloodshed. Gucci didn't mourn, he branded it. In tracks, interviews, subliminals, he made it known. Go dig your partner up. And while Jeezy tried to move on, the wound never fully closed. Even in 2020, when they appeared on Versus together, Gucci came out swinging. Opening with a diss track Round 1, Jeezy tried to keep it civil. Gucci still wanted to smoke. The crowd thought it was a rap battle. Gucci knew it was still personal. Gucci Mane versus Waka Flocka Flame. Brothers turned enemies. This one hurt the most. Waka wasn't just an artist under Gucci, he was family. Brick Squad was their kingdom. Gucci was the kingpin, Waka the prince. They ran Atlanta together like a two-man wrecking crew. Their chemistry, explosive. Their bond, unbreakable. Until it wasn't. As the fame piled up, cracks started forming. Rumors swirled. Waka's mom, Deb Antony, who was managing Gucci, was allegedly mismanaging funds. Gucci didn't like it. He called her out. Waka stood by his mom. That loyalty, it cost them everything. What followed was one of the messiest splits in hip-hop. Gucci publicly fired Waka. Waka clapped back. The two went from blood brothers to bitter enemies. Waka even said in an interview, "I can't coexist with that man. I don't feel any emotion for him." Brick Squad, dead. All that brotherhood, burned to ashes. And Gucci, once again, alone, surrounded by beef, but never backing down. Gucci Mane versus T.I. King of the South or King of Smoke? T.I. had the crown, literally. He called himself the King of the South. But Gucci never bowed to royalty, especially not self-declared ones. The tension between Gucci and Tip wasn't loud. It was cold, subtle, petty jabs in interviews, long pauses when asked about each other. Gucci didn't forget when T.I. tried to step in and mediate the Jeezy beef. Gucci felt disrespected, like, "You ain't my big homie." Atlanta watched closely. Two kings, one city, no handshakes. They never traded blows, but they also never truly vibed. The tension hung in the air, not enough to spark a war, but too thick to ignore. Gucci Mane versus Nicki Minaj, the fallout nobody expected. This one came out of nowhere. Back in the day, Nicki was part of the come-up. She did tracks with Gucci, they rocked stages, even freestyled together on old DVDs. It was love, until the drugs took over. In 2013, Gucci, deep in his addiction, hopped on Twitter and snapped. He went off on everyone, including Nicki, claimed she owed him favors, said things no one expected. It was ugly, unprovoked, wild. Nicki didn't play along. She clapped back instantly. "May God strike me dead if I ever had S with that man." Then she blocked him and never looked back. Gucci blamed the lean, apologized, but Nicki had already cut the cord. One of the last female allies in his circle, gone. The collapse of Brick Squad, Gucci versus everybody. By 2013, Gucci wasn't just beefing with rivals, he was self-sabotaging. OG the Juice Man, Frenchie, Young Scooter, Pee Wee Longway, All Day, all suddenly iced out. Gucci went nuclear, logged on Twitter and aired everybody out like laundry, called them broke, fake snakes. No one was safe, not even his closest allies. The Brick Squad dream was officially dead. The empire he built with his bare hands imploded from the inside. Why? Drugs, ego, paranoia, maybe all of the above, but one thing was clear. Gucci had gone from king to lone wolf. Gucci Mane versus Young Jock and other silent tensions. Not every beef made headlines, some were just weird. Young Jock, for example, there was no shootout, no diss track, just energy. Jock was blowing up, Gucci didn't like how he moved, subtle shade. Tense backstage run-ins, unspoken tension. Same with Lil Wayne. Gucci would occasionally throw subliminals his way, a line here, a jab there, nothing direct, but everyone in the industry knew Gucci kept mental receipts. Atlantic Records, he called them out too, said they held him back, called them snakes. Another bridge burned. He didn't just beef with rappers, he beefed with the whole system. The 2013 Twitter meltdown, a cry for help. September 2013, the day Gucci Mane broke the internet. With over 70 tweets in 24 hours, Gucci went on a rampage. He called out Drake, T.I. and Tiny, Rocco, Keisha Cole, Nicki Minaj, and even his own label. It wasn't funny, it was painful. Fans laughed, but some saw through it. This wasn't clout chasing, it was a man unraveling. Gucci later admitted, "I was on lean, I needed help." 2 days later, he was arrested for possession and gun charges. The meltdown? A final scream before hitting rock bottom. Gucci versus the industry, blackballed but unbothered. After everything, the beefs, arrests, the meltdowns, Gucci became untouchable, not in a good way. Labels kept their distance, blogs stopped covering him, no big features, no cosigns. The rumor? He was blackballed. Too unstable, too raw. But Gucci didn't flinch. He turned to the streets, dropped mixtape after mixtape, flooded Dat Piff. Built a cult following that didn't need radio or award shows. While the industry looked away, the streets stayed loyal. The clone theory comeback. New Gucci, same energy. Then came 2016. Gucci came out of prison looking like a new man. Literally, slim, clear-eyed, motivated. Fans were stunned. That ain't Gucci, that's a clone. Social media had a field day. Memes, jokes, conspiracies. Gucci didn't fight it. He embraced the clone rumors, dropped the first day out the feds, proposed to Keisha, got healthy, got rich. Old Gucci was chaotic. New Gucci was calculated. But don't get it twisted, the savage never left. He just learned to smile while holding the knife. Gucci Mane versus Angela Yee, the Breakfast Club fallout. Just when things felt smooth, boom, 2019. Gucci reignited drama with the Breakfast Club, claiming Angela Yee had flirted with him during an old interview. Yee denied it, said Gucci was lying. Gucci came with receipts, dug up old footage, presented his case. Charlemagne tried to play it neutral. Envy and Yee distanced themselves. Gucci never returned to the show. Another bridge torched. His media run may have ended, but his legacy still undeniable.
So you said if you don't talk to somebody within 4 to 5 years, they just dead to you.
If I ain't reached out
He's saying
yet,
it's closed. He
I'm
didn't
saying if
say.
I ain't reached out yet, then I ain't gonna reach out. We ain't got nothing to speak about. You do your thing, I do mine. We ain't gotta be at odds, but at the same time, I don't wanna slap your hand, I don't wanna speak. Just do you.
Alright, that's all we've got for you about why Yo Gotti feared Gucci Mane more than young Dolph. In the streets, fear ain't a feeling, it's a legacy, and Gucci wore it like a crown.